Our thoughts on evil campaigns.
Onto the evil campaigns. Evil campaigns can be a broad variety, as they are magical dumpster box to shove all your murder hobo characters into it, which is the more generic one, I think. Would be the most default state in which most Dungeons and Masters want to shovel their murder hobo characters. This might also be a good opportunity for the Dungeon Master and the players to get the evil out of themselves, because every so often you will get a player
You play too much of a holy campaign. You need a little bit of
evil,
spilt innocent blood.
Yeah, and so sometimes you might have a player who is really prone into murder hoboism, and this might actually be the magical cure-all for the tail end, where you actually just create a campaign that focuses all around your characters are traveling around the world, trying to do whatever things they are trying to do, like gather power, wealth, of the blood of innocence, since the power of evil god or something.
So, I haven't actually. I think I've been in like one evil campaign, but there is an idea that I've had of a style of evil campaign.
How long did that evil campaign go?
Not long.
That seems to be the standard for evil campaigns. They usually
I had an idea for one that could last a long time. Maybe this will be my next campaign.
Yeah.
But the idea is that your characters would be generally they'd be willing to kill innocents as long as like it made sense, right? It's not like a big issue for them. They're not like out here looking to just randomly kill people, but they're not worried about if Joe Schmo dies, right? So your characters are out for their own good. They're trying to be somebody, get places in the world. But it's that style of evil where it's close to lawful in that you have like a code of ethics that you follow. It's just not the general code of ethics, right? The idea with it, though, is that you're okay with some things, but you're not okay with others. Example, snitches, they get stitches, right? But, so you won't snitch. You got that code in you, you're not going to snitch. You never out any of your allies, right? You've got those forms of bonds.
Unless you get profit from it.
No, not even then. Nope. Got your code of ethics. Won't do it.
All right.
So, additionally, there's some things you aren't okay with. Let's give an example. Like maybe you're just like really okay with, or really not okay with, like slavery, right? Or if there's people
or rape.
Yes. Or if there's people who are hurting youths.
Puppies and kittens.
Youths and yes, exactly. So with that, you are very against those things. So your party, while they are evil and doing evil things, and you've got a whole group that's willing to go and sneak into like this shop at night and steal, which can be its own cool heist adventures, you're also still can be going and dealing with some kind of other big bad that you just don't like, right? And you're trying to grow your own power as well in your own selfish ways. I think it can make a very good evil campaign. I'd be down to run it. I think it could work very well. Or I'd be down to play as a player in it.
Yeah. Evil campaigns probably split into two categories. There is the open evil campaign and there's the closed evil campaign or the hidden evil campaign. The open evil campaign is the dirt obvious one. You're all murderers and killers traveling around the world doing evil acts kind of thing. And you're not trying to hide it. You're literally breaking into places, robbing banks, doing stuff like that. Just out and out. It's you're bad at people and you're just doing bad things kind of thing. The hidden one, or the
closed?
The closed one is the one that kind of like what you described, but also is more specifically like your characters might look like good guys.
Yeah.
Your characters might just look like normal people. They might look like normal adventurers. But they're trying to do evil things out of sight. Like they might save the orphans during the day, take them back home, or something like that.
And at night, they're stealing from the houses they just got into.
Yeah, they get the orphans home. They go out at night. They might rob a bank or something like that, or they might brainwash or enchant or cast spells on people, both to manipulate them into situations that are not good.
Yeah.
Out of sight, out of mind. So society thinks of them as good people or just random people that are just wandering through the world, but they are in fact trying to move towards an evil goal, either many little goals like gaining wealth and power, or they might be working towards a single big goal like bringing back an evil god or something else like that.
Yes. You had another one which was hidden.
Hidden, yeah. Oh, it's the closed/hidden one.
Okay, so those were the same. They
Yeah.
weren't two separate. Okay. There is a third category which I'm just going to outright place objection towards, which is the evil campaigns where the people just want to do fucked up things and the DM just wants to do and describe fucked up things. I'm against those evil campaigns.
Yeah,
I have no interest in taking part in anything like that.
those evil campaigns, like the super messed up, the super crazy ones with
Whatever the things are.
with the extreme stuff in them, that might be a specific group thing.
Yeah.
A specific dungeon master.
Yeah.
And depending on that group, it might be okay. Yeah. Okay?
But
That's
it's,
the awesome,
it's a really strange group you'd have to have there.
That's a situation of the magical ultimate feature of tabletop role playing games is that you can modify them and come up with all kinds of stuff.
But that's also the unfortunate part.
Yeah,
Is some people will.
Yeah.
And
it'll be horrifying for some people. So
yeah.
It's very much important to know what your group is and where their standards are. I'm not saying like, hey, hand out a sheet with say with all your triggers on it to every player in your group.
Yeah.
Along with pronouns and everything else, unless that is something that is super important to you and your group.
Yeah. And if it matters to your group, do the thing. If
it
doesn't matter to your group, don't do the thing.
Yeah. And probably the first person you would do that if you had something that was truly super important, like you don't like the R thing because of bad experiences,
yes.
or you have a strong feeling about that, the first person to ask would be your dungeon master. And then the dungeon master will either modify the campaign or ensure that there is nothing of that sort in that campaign.
Yes.
Which usually the ultra majority of dungeon masters are not going to stick that thing in there, okay?
Yeah.
They're not going to do that.
You've got already an outlier group if that's occurring in your group.
Yeah. So, but it does happen occasionally. And in some cases, if it's done right or set up in the right way, it might actually be good.
The only times I've seen that done well...
Like a retributive kind of thing.
The only time I've seen that done well is, like, let's say a freeing of the slaves.
Yeah.
There's been, from the bandit camp that's taken up a bunch of people.
Yeah.
You can have the thing in there and have it be in a useful, cool way.
Mm-hmm.
Where it, like, isn't being gross. It's
an opportunity for the party to strike back and attack a true form of evil in society.
But the problem is when you're running it in an evil campaign, and that's the thing that the players are doing.
Yeah. There is also, like, it could be a dividing line for the evil campaign too. Like, the evil party will not cross the R line.
That's what I was talking about. A code of ethics of
or
the
they
evil
will
characters.
not cross the S line or the R or the other R line or something else like that.
That's why I was saying there's like a code of ethics to the evil group of which, hey, they're messed up, but they're not going to do those things because that's a scale.
That's obviously too evil, or it's something that will risk the group's ultimate goal from being undone.
Yes. That's our thoughts on evil campaigns.
I think there's just a touch more to it.
What you got?
Well, first and foremost, on an evil campaign, you obviously want to decide whether it's a sort of a secret kind of thing or an open kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then if it's an open,
Figure out the hidden dynamic that the group is evil.
yeah, the open kind of thing is that you're turning it into a mixture of like heist adventures, where you have to devise heists for them.
Yes.
Seth Sorkowski has a really nice video on that on his channel.
You could also be doing that in the more closed as well, though. And
yeah, you can do that in more of the closed as well. The heist aspect it will be more common. You might devise systems for the open campaign. Obviously, if it's the open campaign, the party will be moving from region to region.
Yes.
So you would not be making use of bastions unless you happen to have
like
a bastion
teleport.
A bastion that flies or teleports or something like that. So obviously, say like a horizon back that can walk across the landscape. That's an option. Or a pirate campaign. You're obviously pirates. You're stealing from people.
A pirate campaign could work.
That works out in that situation. That is a natural evolution of that kind of operation.
So everyone has to be on board about if it's open that we're evil or closed that we're doing things in the dark when nobody sees it and we're outwardly good people or whatever.
In which case, then in a closed or a hidden one, where the party has a front of good or neutrality or obstructs the perception of their evil acts, that you have to establish either they're going to have a front operation for it, like a business or something like that, or it's like a Thieves Guild campaign or something like that, like you're in a mega city.
Yeah.
And all you guys just happen to be a part of the Thieves Guild. Which case you might have to create an exception for Thieves' Cant, like give it to like everyone in that campaign.
I could see that, yeah.
So the wizard knows Thieves' Cant, the fighter knows Thieves' Cant.
Or you could go some different route of making sure someone has there's different species or subclasses that can give everyone mental access to talking to each other.
Yeah, that would also work too. You would have to come up with your cover, the means of communicating between the characters to indicate when they're going to do an evil act or when they're not going to do an evil act. And then they had to devise what kind of goal, the ultimate set of goals they're doing in their evil acts, as well as their good or neutral acts that cover up their evil acts in the world. So you're going to have to focus a bit more on more of a in a hidden or a closed camp. What I probably stuck closed in it because I had open, and then I'm like, oh yeah, there's
open or hidden.
Opposite of open is closed.
Okay, so open or hidden.
Open or hidden, but in the case of a hidden one, one of the important things that the dungeon master has to do is that they're going to have to come up with a reputation system.
Yeah.
For various individuals or factions, such as the town guard.
Yeah.
That way you can have the party build up good rapport with the town guard. So just in case something questionable happens with the party, you can spend that good rapport with the town guard to buy them off, either with money or reputation, and so forth. Where in a open evil campaign, you're just evil. You're just doing evil things.
They could be taking out the town's guard afterwards themselves, anyways.
You could just do what me and a group did in an evil campaign a long time ago. We just dropped explosives on the town guard and blew them to pieces. That was a fairly old campaign before I got into John's group.
Yeah.
So. That was one of those things. It was an evil campaign. We were kind of pirates. We were traveling across the sand dunes. And we came upon town. We took out all the town's guard. And then everyone in the town left. and we looted the whole place.
Okay.
So that's what we ended up doing with that. But
Say you're a DM here.
Mhm.
What's your... Because we're both okay with the idea of running an
Mhm.
evil campaign. What's your ratio look like here? For me, it'd be like 1 in 8. I guess I'd be down to run one, but it's definitely not like either or.
uh, it's sort of like a 5 for me.
1 in 5.
Um, oh wait, not 1 in 5. 1 to 10, it would be a 5.
So
The
you're saying a 1 in 2? There's a 50% chance you'd run it.
Yeah, there's
So
honestly,
you could go either way. Let's say you're gonna run a campaign right now. There's a 50% likelihood that it'll be evil.
I depends on the players. I might actually. It depends on if I'm going to. Let's say it's a A or B, and then if it's a homebrew campaign, I'm like 50-50. You know, I
Okay.
can like it could be an evil campaign or it be a good campaign in a
Are you
homebrew.
saying because you have no preference, or
I
because...
don't have a super strong preference for instance if it's evil or good campaign.
But if
It's
you had
just
to choose offhand, you're probably gonna choose good.
I would probably go with good more often than not.
Yeah.
Just because that's basically the default we go with most of the time, and that's the easiest one to go with because you have more options.
Yeah, because otherwise you're running a vastly different campaign.
Yeah. The only problem with the evil campaigns is you would have to homebrew most of it, unless you happen to go and find like the 1 or 2 evil campaigns for each system. Say like Pathfinder Second Edition has a evil campaign. Dungeons and Dragons 5th Edition has a evil campaign.
Yeah.
Pathfinder First Edition has a evil campaign into it, so there's usually just one.
But you're generally gonna be homebrewing.
Yeah, you'll pretty much be homebrewing an evil campaign because it'd be very specific to your party.
I have a good character in mind for an evil campaign.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a story for another time. I've already pretty much built out this character to, I think, like level 6 or 7 or somewhere around there, maybe 5. Uh, because I wanted to see how building it out would work, what kind of options I'd pick, so on and so forth. But I've pretty much built out this character and its core concept. But we'll go over that another time. I might be using it in Nathan's campaign if Otto dies.
Oh, interesting. Probably the hardest thing for me with the evil campaign is actually no. The hardest things for an evil campaign is the requirement of you have to do a lot of homebrew work for them, and you have to come up with an evil campaign. But also you had to find out where everyone's tolerance is when it comes to an evil campaign. Some
Yeah.
people have a pretty. Some people
The
have
gray
a
line for one person might be killing an innocent,
yeah.
and the gray line for another person might be that you're not all paladins.
Yeah, that's
Right?
that's the other problem. That's the general problem. That's probably the biggest one is like when you go evil campaign, and I found that out in the evil campaign in the that I played in once.
Yeah.
That oftentimes when the dungeon master says we're running an evil campaign, they
Some
might
people get different ideas.
people get different ideas, but also when you say evil campaign, people don't know what type of evil campaign. And I think evil
That's
campaigns are grossly underrepresented in tabletop role playing games.
Yeah.
So you end up with a horrible situation of people going to extremes.
I feel like if I ran an evil campaign, I would have to really outline it more so than
Yeah.
a normal campaign.
Oh yeah,
Of,
absolutely. Just
hey,
you
this
have
is out, this is out, this
Yeah.
is out.
that is a true evil campaign if it's an open evil campaign. But even if it's a closed one, that might actually be one of the few times you authentically should probably consider some kind of safety tool rule set.
Yeah.
And probably the default one is literally like what is completely forbidden in this evil campaign.
Yeah.
So, and then once you find out what is absolutely forbidden by all the players, you kind of set it, you kind of go through there and like, rape, no. Slavery is gray zone. Uh, I don't want to use too many of those words because
Yeah.
it's gonna flag on this shit.
Yeah.
Uh,
A lot of
ex-
things are just entirely no.
extensive racism might actually be a gray zone situation. It can't be super common,
Yeah.
but it can be occasional.
Yeah. An example of something that might be okay, accepted as okay is if that player's character just really doesn't like gnomes.
Yeah.
Which, arguably, if you translate that to, current world
Mm-hmm.
geopolitical situations and whatnot, that is, if one person just really doesn't like a certain group, obviously that's bad. But, like, in a D&D context, if you transcend it to just they don't like gnomes, for those people can make it a running joke of,
Mm-hmm.
oh, he just doesn't like gnomes. But
Yeah. Dre doesn't like gnomes at all. Supposedly, at one point in time, they buried their god in a mine.
stupid gnomes.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Do you got anything else on evil campaigns?
Uh, First and foremost, the most important rule of an evil campaign is that like sort of rule zero of evil campaigns before like even like knowing having like the test of like what is acceptable and what's not acceptable in the
Yeah.
evil campaign is that first the absolute zero
Is that
rule.
everyone's down during the evil campaign?
Well, that's even before that.
Okay.
Before that, the very first thing is literally, do you have new players in your group? Is a new dungeon master?
Yeah,
How
that'd be
how
oh
long have
god.
you been playing together? If you guys are new, the answer is automatic no,
Yeah.
because at that point it's complete mystery as to what players are going to jump into. If you are an entirely new group to tabletop role playing games, an evil campaign is a no.
Yeah, it's a
Outright.
not for you.
Even a closed one, even a very mild one, because then you have the added problem of players just trying to learn the system, but they're also trying to be manipulative, creative in the
Yeah.
system, and they don't have a basis for
How the system functions.
how the system functions, and also the moral level of inherent in the system
Yeah.
in itself, and they might just jump off the deep end right off the bat,
Yep.
or they might just misread or misunderstand the level of tolerance other players have in a group.
Yeah.
At least then, if you've played a couple campaigns for more than one, 2 to 4 years, you at least then get an understanding of how other players play and feel about things at a certain level. And then you can go to the question of like, hey, are you okay with an evil campaign?
Yeah.
And then we can go ahead and get the finer detail questions like the level of tolerance of certain concepts.
Yeah.
And what I need to define in all those the previous things I listed off that I kind of stopped midway through
Yeah.
is whether it's okay to mention them.
Whether it's okay or not for them to occur broadly.
Yeah,
Or
mention, have it occur in the universe out of sight, or directly in front of the party,
Yeah.
or the party's involved in them.
Yep.
And those are like the 4 major levels right there. And you find out where the players are at that, and then you kind of adjust to the most universally accepted level of that.
Yep.
To the safe side of that. So if you have a situation where you have all the players in your group are like they can accept the R thing has happened in the world and might be mentioned, except for one that absolutely hates it, you don't do it.
Exactly.
So there you go.
We're on the same page.
Yeah. So the evil campaign kind of thing is like the extreme testing the edges of acceptability in gaming.
Yep.
And you kind of have a situation where it's kind of like horror. You want to be able to go up to the edge and like lean on the edge,
Yep.
but you don't want to go past the edge.
Yes.
So, and even then, it might actually be
Better to stay further from the edge.
Even then, when it comes to the edge, even if it's okay to come up to the edge, some situations where it's actually important to realize is that you might be able to touch the edge, but you can't hold yourself there at the edge.
Yeah.
Because there's a difference between just touching it briefly and then holding right next to it.
Yeah. It
Because
being a frequent topic.
If you do it too much, even a mild thing can become a problem.
Yes.
Or even the mildest form of that thing. So, this is one of those touchy, dangerous
Very dangerous topic.
Yeah. So, that's why I say, if you're new as a dungeon master, new as a player, the answer is no. Don't do an evil campaign within the first few years. That's something that after you guys played multiple different characters and got a feel for the group dynamic, and the dungeon master knows where people's level of tolerance is generally, then you could go ahead and touch into an evil campaign. And probably the safer one is like the hidden one.
Yeah.
Where the group is like literally
with the code of ethics.
Yeah, with the code of ethics. Yeah, they have rules that they don't do the R thing.
Yeah.
They don't get involved with the S thing, and they might break up the S thing if they come across it.
Yep.
Or so forth. Or the R thing. But they don't get involved in it.
Yes.
So, there you go.
All right, that's our thoughts on evil campaigns. We're okay with it.
Yeah.
But it needs to be navigated like a fine cartographer.
Yeah.
You do not blindly tread that sea.
And you definitely don't do it with first thing.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
No.
The evil campaigns can break groups.
Absolutely.
So there you go.
All right. You guys have a wonderful day. Thank you for being here.
And have a magnificent night.
Have a good one.